Okay, that title was clickbait, I'm gonna be honest, but I'm just gonna tell you some artists that I really like that do invoke, the most emotion, in my opinion, and art is subjective, you already know that, yada yada yada. Let's get to the video. Now, you have seen my short where I do tease this video, so, well, maybe. If you haven't, you can go check that out and see which one of the artists I'm gonna talk about a little bit later in this video. Yep. Up first, we have this dude named Bruce Pennington. Now, that is the best picture I could find of him, and the only, so don't be mad if it's wrong. He's made some pretty, science fiction and, weird paintings. Most of them that I have seen, they have, at least, one planet in the background. Some of this even looks AI generated, but it's not. Well, the last picture I showed, I don't know if that is one by him, or it's just some AI slop that somebody put on a website. This is one of my favorite paintings by him, subjectively. I really like all of these because they look like they could fit in a progressive death metal cover. That's because it is. You probably recognize this as Blood Incantation's album, Hidden Histories of the Human Race. He made this in the year 1971. He also made the album art for Ultraboss, which I've personally never heard of them, but he is also 81 years old. Nobody watching this video is older than 81. Many different novels and album covers, they feature some of his works. I am truly fascinated by some of the stuff he has done. And I also like the fact that he has done album art for one of my favorite bands in the metal genre. Now, I'm going to be honest, I didn't really discover this guy until, not a very long time ago, because I was, intrigued by who did make Hidden Histories of the Human Race by Blood Incantation's album work, because it looks pretty good. And I found out it's this dude. I looked into many other of his works. That sounded like I had a mini stroke. And, yep, here we are today. He is up there with some of my favorite artists, but yeah, he is one of my favorites overall. After looking at some of his stuff, that's how you know it's really good. So we can go ahead and move on to the next artist, which I am almost as, if not more, intrigued with. Alright, next we have my man, Fred Gambino. Now, what do you think Mars will look like in the next few 100,000 years whenever we get, our hands on it? Well, this dude perfectly encaptures what I think. This is exactly how I imagined Mars at that time. I believe he's a comic book artist as well, and he's made Dark Shepherd. So I'm just going to say this now. I don't know half of the stuff that they've made. I'm just going to say that now. Some of his artwork reminds me of Out of the Blue era ELO. Take this, for example, or even this. Okay, here I have my ELO record. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Look at this. Look at this. If this, thing that I just showed you was way more saturated in terms of color, yeah, it would be kind of concerning that how, identical they look. He's also done all of this, which I've never heard of none of these, so you probably recognize at least one, probably. Hey. Do you know how old he is? Take a guess. 69. Yeah, worst time I could be making this video for my boy Fred Gambino. I also came across this that reminds me of Meet the Robinsons for some reason. Some of his stuff, comes across as these stereotypes in, sci-fi movie covers. You know the ones I'm talking about. So his stuff is slightly familiar to, the guy we talked about, Bruce Pennington, last time. But you want to know who is at, his totally different league? Well, I'm going to talk about him right after this Yeah, I don't have a sponsor. I'm sorry, you don't have to skip this at all. Alright, we can go ahead and get to the next one. So a little bit ago, I was watching this video called Fear of the Huge Megalophobia. Great video, you should check it out. He has some amazing examples of megalophobia in that video, but one stood out to me. So I saw this photo in the video and I had to immediately check which artist this was. Now, his name is Brent Wong. I could not find any photo of this dude, I'm gonna be honest. All I could find was his works that look, well, CGI. So these were made in the 1970s. This was way before, like, you know, whenever CGI became, like, truly popular. But hey, what are you going to do whenever you, like, go outside your house to see the 520 dimensional, like, random shape thing just, like, outside your house that's probably at least, like, 10 miles long? That would probably leave you awestruck. Hey, certainly would me. Now, I only have limited knowledge of this, but Brent Wong is, like, the only artist I could find who does this type of artwork. What about Alex Corville? I mean, has he made giant structures that are like the size of who knows? Now, don't get me wrong, Alex Corville's artwork is amazing too, but honestly, I prefer Brent Wong. Now, if you are a liminal nerd like me, you have probably seen his artwork before. Like, hold up, I am going to search up Windows startup sounds with, you know, surreal photos, and I bet like one of the first few pictures are going to be one of Brent Wong's. Let's see here. It's the second one. But like, if you have seen one of those videos, you have definitely seen his artwork, whether you like know it or not. This man is easily my favorite artist on here. I don't care what anybody else says. The other ones that I will and have talked about so far are great, but like, you know, this dude, like, solos. I also like the saturation in colors that he uses in his artwork. Like, if you know me, you know I have a thing for, like, really bright and blue clear skies, and maybe even a few clouds if you wanted to. And this, like, this is what I really like about his artwork mainly, and especially how weird but funny some of his stuff is. Now, most of the artists we have talked about so far, there's barely anything known about them. There's, like, hardly any pictures, and there's just, like, they're not that mainstream. But this artist that I'm about to talk to next is probably the most known and the most popular out of, you know, all the ones I have yapped about so far. And we can go ahead and move on, and I'll show you who he is. Now, most of y'all watching have probably seen my video on, well, my short video on this dude, but if you haven't, I'm about to talk about him. Roger Dean's the man's name. Well, does it ring a bell? Well, if you are a prog nerd or a prog rock nerd, I think you might want to stay for this dude. He has done almost every album art and logo for Yes. He's probably most known for this album cover, which is Fragile by Yes, which has that really funny song Roundabout with the "To Be Continued." You know the one I'm talking about. He's also done the Asia logo. This dude has also made every single other painting and logo I am showing you on the screen. Out of the two bands I named, these are the only ones that I can really think of or name, so there's that. He's also done artwork for all of these other artists. My man is speedrunning this. So remember when I said this is easily the most popular, like, person on this list? I was not lying at all. His artwork has sold more than 150 million copies worldwide, according to Wikipedia. He is also the same age as the first dude we talked about, being 81 years old. So yeah, he's also really old. Well, that's basically all I have to say about this dude, that he has sold a lot of copies of his paintings, and he has, you know, done some really good works for some really good prog bands, because I am a prog nerd. But yeah, he's goated, I guess. Well, that's basically it. Yeah, over the course of this entire video, I felt like I was kicking a hornet's nest, because I have only heard the negative sides of the art community, because everybody's, you know, protesting about AI and stuff. It's just been really, you know, all of that. So don't be mad at me if I'm, like, oblivious to most of the stuff I've talked about, because I'm more of a music guy than an art guy personally, but... Well, if you did like this video overall, I just want to say you can check out many other of my stuff, because I do make videos similar to this, and, you know, I just want to say like and subscribe if you really want to. I don't really care.